The winter air over the secret launch facility in North Korea remained biting, and still as the first light of December 28, 2025, began to illuminate the horizon. On this significant morning, the global community watched with bated breath as North Korean leader Kim Jong Un emerged to oversee a demonstration of military might that would reshape regional security dynamics for years to come. The centerpiece of this operation was the Hwasal 3 array, a new type of long-range strategic cruise missile designed to bypass modern defense networks with ease. As the countdown reached 0, the stillness was shattered by the roar of advanced booster engines, propelling the sleek projectiles into the gray sky. This was not merely a routine training exercise. It represented a quantum leap in the Hermit Kingdom's offensive capabilities. The international community, long accustomed to ballistic missile threats, now faced a more nuanced and difficult challenge. Cruise missiles, unlike their ballistic counterparts, fly at lower altitudes and follow unpredictable paths, making them incredibly difficult to track on standard radar. As Kim Jong Un looked on through binoculars, the successful ignition of the first stage signaled that the era of strategic cruise dominance had officially arrived in Pyongyang. The technical specifications of the Hwasal 3 array are as impressive as they are terrifying for military planners in Seoul and Washington. According to state media reports confirmed by regional intelligence agencies, the missiles executed a highly complex flight path that lasted for exactly 8,521 seconds. This translates to roughly 2 hours and 22 minutes of sustained, controlled flight through the atmosphere. During this duration, the missiles did not fly in a straight line. Instead, they performed intricate maneuvers, including elliptical patterns and H-shaped orbits. These maneuvers are specifically designed to exhaust interceptor stocks and confuse automated tracking systems. By maintaining a constant altitude and varying their direction, the missiles demonstrated a level of guidance sophistication previously unseen in North Korean hardware. The reported distance covered was a staggering 2,000 kilometers, putting all of South Korea and most of Japan within immediate striking distance. For Kim Jong Un, the successful execution of these complex orbits proved that his engineers had mastered the propulsion and navigation technologies required for long-range precision strikes. The precision with which these missiles struck their intended targets in the East Sea served as a chilling reminder of the regime's growing technological maturity. Standing on the observation deck, surrounded by high-ranking generals and top-tier scientists, Kim Jong Un projected an image of absolute confidence and control. His presence at such high-stakes tests is never accidental. It is a calculated performance intended for both domestic pride and international intimidation. Clad in his signature heavy overcoat, Kim was seen laughing and gesturing toward the monitors displaying the real-time flight telemetry of the Hwasal 3 array. For the North Korean leader, these weapons represent the ultimate insurance policy for his family's continued rule. During the post-launch briefing, he expressed what state media described as great satisfaction with the results, praising the workers of the munitions industry for their tireless dedication to the national cause. He framed the development of these missiles as a direct response to external threats, specifically citing the hostile maneuvers of the United States and its regional allies. To Kim, the Hwasal 3 array is not just a weapon. It is a powerful physical means of reliable deterrence. His rhetoric suggests that as long as he perceives a threat from the West, the pace of North Korean nuclear and conventional arms development will only continue to accelerate, regardless of the heavy economic sanctions currently in place. The shift toward strategic cruise missiles marks a pivotal change in the tactical landscape of Northeast Asia. While ballistic missiles are like massive hammers falling from space, cruise missiles are more like invisible scalpels, hugging the terrain and sneaking under the umbrella of traditional missile defenses. The strategic label applied to the Hwasal 3 array is a deliberate piece of military terminology, indicating that these systems are intended to carry nuclear warheads. This creates a nightmare scenario for defense analysts because it becomes nearly impossible to distinguish between a conventional strike and a nuclear one until the moment of impact. Furthermore, The ability of these missiles to be launched from mobile platforms, such as camouflage trucks or even submarines, makes them extremely difficult to destroy in a preemptive strike. North Korea is effectively building a second strike capability, ensuring that even if their primary silos were neutralized, they would still possess the means to deliver a devastating nuclear response. This diversification of their arsenal forces the United States and its allies to rethink their entire defensive posture. It requires billions of dollars in new investment for low-altitude radar systems and sea-based sensors, further straining the already tense geopolitical environment of the Pacific Rim. The destination for these sophisticated weapons was a small, designated target area in the East Sea, also known as the Sea of Japan. This body of water has long served as the testing ground for North Korea's most ambitious military projects. By launching into these waters, Pyongyang avoids flying directly over Japanese territory, which would be seen as an act of extreme provocation. Yet they still manage to demonstrate their range and accuracy to the entire world. The fact that the missiles successfully hit a target after 2 hours of flight proves that the guidance systems can handle long-duration missions without drifting off course. This level of accuracy is essential for strategic missions where the goal is to hit specific high-value targets, such as command centers, air bases, or naval ports. For the observers in Japan and South Korea, the splashdown of the Hwasal 3 array was a signal that their coastal cities are now more vulnerable than ever. The choice of the East Sea as a graveyard for these test missiles allows North Korea to collect data on maritime impact while simultaneously keeping their hardware out of the hands of Western recovery teams. It is a carefully choreographed dance of military testing and diplomatic signaling played out on the waves. As the missiles were in the air, military command centers in Seoul, Tokyo, and Hawaii were operating at a fever pitch of activity. The South Korean Joint Chiefs of Staff were the first to publicly confirm the detection of the launches, noting that they were monitoring the situation in real time. This event highlighted the critical importance of the trilateral intelligence sharing agreements between the United States, South Korea, and Japan. By pooling their radar data and satellite imagery, these three nations were able to track the complex H-shaped flight paths that North Korea had boasted about. However, the detection of a launch is only the first step. The true challenge lies in the ability to intercept such a maneuverable threat. In Tokyo, the Japanese government issued stern warnings, characterizing the test as a direct violation of United Nations Security Council resolutions. Despite the diplomatic outcry, there is a growing sense of frustration among regional leaders that sanctions and condemnations are failing to slow North Korea's progress. Each successful test provides the Kim regime with more leverage on the world stage, making the prospect of denuclearization seem increasingly like a distant fantasy. The regional response is now shifting from prevention to active containment and advanced defense. The timing of the Hwasal 3RA test cannot be viewed in isolation from the broader global political climate of 2025. Across the globe, the international order is being challenged, and North Korea is taking full advantage of the chaos. With the world's attention divided by conflicts in Europe and the Middle East, Kim Jong Un has found the perfect window to solidify his status as a major nuclear power. There's also the lingering shadow of military cooperation between Pyongyang and Moscow. Rumors have persisted that in exchange for providing conventional munitions for the war in Ukraine, North Korea has received advanced Russian aerospace and missile technology. This potential technology transfer could explain the rapid advancement in North Korea's cruise missile guidance and engine efficiency. If Russian scientists are indeed assisting the North, the speed of these developments will only increase. This creates a dangerous precedent where rogue states can trade hardware for high-tech secrets, bypassing the global non-proliferation regime entirely. The Hwasal 3 array is thus a symbol of a fracturing world where old alliances are being replaced by new, more dangerous partnerships that threaten the stability of the entire international system and the safety of millions. Within the borders of North Korea, the success of the long-range cruise missile test is being hailed as a historic triumph of the Jewish ideology. State television, led by its iconic news anchors, has spent hours broadcasting footage of the launch, accompanied by patriotic music and soaring narration. For the domestic audience, these weapons are presented not as tools of aggression, but as shields of protection that ensure the North Korean people will never again suffer the indignity of foreign invasion. The propaganda machine carefully links the technological prowess of the Hwasal 3 array to the personal brilliance and leadership of Kim Jong Un. By showing him directly involved in the launch process, the regime reinforces his image as a master strategist and the father of the nation. This is particularly important during times of economic hardship, as it provides the population with a sense of national pride and a reason to endure continued sacrifices. The message is clear. While the citizens may face shortages of food or electricity, they are citizens of a world-class military power. This internal narrative is essential for maintaining social cohesion and loyalty to the Kim dynasty, ensuring that the military-first policy remains the unchallenged foundation of North Korean society. Looking ahead, the successful deployment of the Hwasal 3 array suggests that the Korean Peninsula is entering a new and perhaps more volatile phase of its long-standing conflict. For decades, the primary concern was a massive artillery barrage across the demilitarized zone. Now, the threat has evolved into a sophisticated, multi-layered nuclear standoff. South Korea has responded by accelerating its own missile programs and strengthening its kill chain preemptive strike strategy. But the maneuverability of the new North Korean cruise missiles makes preemption much riskier. There's a growing debate within South Korea about whether they should seek their own nuclear deterrent or rely more heavily on the United States' nuclear umbrella. This uncertainty is exactly what Kim Jong Un desires. By creating a credible and diverse nuclear threat, he hopes to drive a wedge between Washington and its regional allies. If the United States is seen as unable to protect Seoul from a stealthy cruise missile attack, the entire alliance structure of the Pacific could begin to crumble. The future will likely see more frequent tests, more advanced hardware, and a shrinking window for diplomatic intervention. The peninsula remains a tinderbox, and the Hwasal 3 array has just added a significant amount of fuel. As the smoke cleared from the launch pad and the Hwasal 3 array missiles completed their journey into the sea, the world was left to grapple with the reality of a nuclear-armed North Korea that is no longer just a regional nuisance, but a sophisticated military adversary. The events of December 28, 2025, serve as a stark reminder that technology waits for no one. Despite decades of pressure, North Korea has successfully developed a weapon that can weave through defenses and strike with precision from over 1,000 miles away. For Kim Jong Un, the test was a crowning achievement in his quest for overwhelming military power. For the rest of the world, it is a call to action. The international community must now decide whether to continue with the current strategy of isolation or find a new way to engage with a regime that has proven it cannot be stopped by sanctions alone. As we move into 2026, the shadow of the Hwasal 3 array looms large over the Pacific. Security, once defined by clear borders and predictable threats, is now a complex game of cat and mouse played at supersonic speeds. The quest for peace on the peninsula has never been more urgent, yet the path to achieving it has never been more obscured.